Good Sunday morning. It's Meteorologist Ryan Hoke here with today's edition of the Hokey video blog. Hope everybody's staying dry this morning. Got some rainfall yesterday. Ooh, it rained buckets on downtown Louisville, whereas the Louisville International Airport only picked up 0.05 of an inch. That's 0.05. So big differences depending on where you were at yesterday and what kind of rainfall you got from some of those isolated downpours. This morning we're dealing with more stratiform rain, but it's only for a certain portion of our viewing area. We'll talk about that in just a second. Let's get through today's Hokey weather fact first. With all the rainfall, the cloud cover, we won't be talking about the heat index today, but in Canada they have a different way of measuring what it feels like outside when you add the humidity to the heat. It's called the humidex. It's a slightly different formula to derive to get that humidex than it is for heat index, and it skews slightly higher as well. That means that what you get from the humidex will probably be a slightly higher number than what you get from the heat index, and that's because folks in Canada aren't quite as accustomed to the heat as we are here in the lower 48 states of the United States in North America. Pretty interesting, isn't it? This is new information just into us. Flash flood watch has been trimmed back for a lot of our counties. It now only includes 7 of our counties. Before it was 12, and some of those 12 were just east of Louisville there. Shelby County was included on up toward Henry County. That has been erased, though. So now only LaRue, Hart, Taylor, Greene, Marion, Washington, and Adair counties are inside this flash flood watch until 2 o'clock this afternoon. And the reason this is because areas east of Louisville here, while we did pick up some rain, we didn't pick up a whole lot. So the flooding potential not quite as concerning as it was before. But it is concerning for folks down in this section right here because you see this heavy rain stacking up just to the south of Hart County on into Adair County, where they've already picked up 0.34 of an inch of rain. Bowling Green picked up 2/3 of an inch since midnight. This is all since midnight that we're talking about here, folks. And you can see it's moving on into Hart County. Folks in Magnolia here, Hodgenville and LaRue County, you guys are next, as well as Lebanon and Marion County, Springfield and Washington County. Even Bardstown may pick up some of this, though. You'll kind of see that there is a little bit of a western component here, so we may even see some of this in Louisville, but the heaviest bulk of it is going to be down in our southeastern counties at the moment. You'll see here from the wider radar view where this rain is stacked up from. Started out in Nashville. Now you see it moving on into southern Kentucky. A little bit of a western component even out here in western Kentucky, but it's not doing too well. It's kind of an isolated downpour part of it. So that's not going to be really the big deal today. It's going to be this big slug of yellow that you see right on in here. Now, we do have the southerly flow moving into the area right now. This is like the fire hose from the Gulf of Mexico directly. And it's causing this what's called a baroclinic leaf. This is pretty cool. This is something you learn kind of in Meteorology 101. It's this leaf-looking structure right here in the clouds. And this is just direct, warm conveyor belt flow right up from the Gulf of Mexico. And it's got a very hard western edge to it. So what could happen here is that an area of low pressure could form somewhere out here and start to make this into a kind of a comma head shape of a cloud cover. But really, you don't want to hear about this morning. You want to hear about the rainfall. So there it is outside this morning, just to our south. And there it is on the SkyTrack network of cameras as well. Wet streets in Corydon, but a lot drier than it was earlier this morning. I know I drove on some very wet streets here in Metro Louisville to get to work, say at around 3 o'clock this morning there. Shepherdsville looking drier, as well as Norton Commons not looking quite as wet as it did before. Temperatures staying in the 70s. When you get the cloud cover, when you get a stratiform rain event like this, temperatures are pretty homogeneous. So we've got lower 70s to our south, even a rain-cooled 68 in Columbia. I think we'll see a lot of upper 60s become common when you get some of this heaviest rainfall down here in those bottom 4 counties. So that's what we're going to see today. Here's what we're going to see on Futurecast. By 10 o'clock, still heavy rain falling across our southern tier of counties, so really the southern third of the viewing area sees this. Metro Louisville, we're still pretty clear. And really, it wouldn't surprise me if we didn't see much, if at all, rainfall here in Metro Louisville. I think for southern Indiana, that'll be the case. Most folks stay dry here in Louisville. We may see a shower or two as we go throughout the afternoon. But really, as we go throughout the noontime and thereafter, I think the rain will be clearing out even from our southeastern counties, and that'll leave most of us dry. Now, we could see an isolated shower, isolated storm form this evening here because we're going to have so much moisture in the air. If we see some peaks of sunshine, that'll give us some instability to work with to form these. But all in all, I think it'll be a quieter second half of the day than the first half for folks, especially down here in the southeastern portion of our viewing area. This may be the first rain that we see here in metro Louisville and southern Indiana if these form this afternoon. So that'll be kind of an interesting event, won't it? All right, tomorrow morning, pretty clear, pretty quiet. Yes, no heavy rainfall to deal with. Tomorrow, temperatures start out in the 60s and the 70s. But as we look ahead toward Labor Day, some of these isolated storms may fire off, and that's not good news for the all-important U of L game happening tomorrow, but I think it may be waning by the time even tailgating is starting, so that's good news there. Here comes a cold front, though, and this thing's going to provide some very heavy rainfall once again right out ahead of it. Yeah, more heavy rain, right? As we go into early Tuesday morning, this will be late Monday night after just about everybody is gone from the stadium at Papa John's Cardinal Stadium into very early Tuesday morning. This pushes through. Cold front kind of washes out to our south. By 11 o'clock, things are a lot improved on the rainfall front, but we could still deal with some of these isolated to scattered showers across the area. What's this going to do to high temperatures? Well, as we go throughout today, lower 80s, 81 degrees. That's all we can do, and that may be even overdone, but we'll see. Based on where this rainfall goes, we may eventually get up to 80 here in metro Louisville and a degree above that. Tomorrow, much improved temperatures into the upper 80s, if you call that an improvement. Depends on your standards. Tuesday looks about the same. Wednesday looks about the same. We break 90 degrees as we head throughout your Thursday, and I think we'll keep that pattern of 90s as we head into next weekend. So just because we are starting September tomorrow doesn't mean we can still get 90-degree weather. I think at least a few days of the first week of September could feature some of that, as well as some of the aforementioned rainfall. All right, Brian Good will be in here with you tonight. I'll be in here with you for the rest of the morning here on Facebook and social media, covering the heavy rains going on just to our south. But until then, have a great Sunday. I'm meteorologist Ryan Hoke.